Hey everyone, it's Josh here from Easy Crypto. Just wanted to let you know that we're going to be doing these lives from here on in. It's going to be a really interesting time as the business continues to grow. It's another bright and early morning here in the crypto office, and all the guys are going to be running around in the background. But what we've decided to do is now, as the business continues to grow, as the market continues to move forward, is we really want to continue to add a lot of value and help people out to be educated and to, particularly in this instance, stop getting scammed. So this is going to be a really interesting episode called Scam Watch. We're going to be breaking things down. So the purpose of today's episode is really just to give you an overview of the type of scams that exist. We're then subsequently going to go on to have kind of an individual video on this type of scam, that type of scam, and so on, to give a bit more detail about those things. But we're just going to cover today the top 5 ways of, basically top 5 ways in which scams happen in the crypto space, and some very quick tips as to what to avoid so you can understand the type of things that are out there. And then we'll double back with some more videos to get some fantastic information as to how you can avoid those things in a bit more detail. So moving forward, we want to give you loads of content, loads of value, use our kind of expertise here to stop these awful things happening, because unfortunately, as the sector continues to grow, the value of the coins goes up and up, and there's more money to be made generally, which unfortunately means there's more money to be made in illicit dealings and nasty things as well. So if this sounds like the type of thing you'd like to see a lot more of, if you could give us a little like down in the corner and subscribe to the channel, that would be really helpful. We'd like to get as much attention as we can to help stop people getting hurt in this industry, because we love crypto and blockchain, and unfortunately, like all things where there is money to be made, there's plenty of bad players in the game, and we want to try and help people to avoid those things. So we're going to crack straight into it. We've got 5 things to go through, so I'll run through those quite quickly. So we have email scams. That's, they've been around for a long time. So what do they look like in crypto and how to avoid them? Fake YouTube. So that's something that you may or may not have realized is a thing. There's fake YouTube channels, which are causing a lot of problems, which we'll look at. We've also got fake tweets. You might have heard recently about the Bitcoin Twitter hack. So what was all that about? We've, of course, then got fake mobile apps, which is something you may have heard of, but particularly in the crypto world, it's quite a big thing. So what is that about? How does it work? And then fake websites, which is in a similar vein to fake apps, but done in a slightly different way. So we're going to keep this video nice and quick. Obviously, each of these will make a separate video on breaking them down in a bit more detail, but I'm going to share some things with you on the screen now, which will enable you to get a bit of a better idea of what's going on here, and you can kind of make sure that you can have a look at what's going on and see some articles. So if we move over here to our first kind of section, so these Bitcoin email scams is the first thing that we're talking about today. So as you can see here, the blackmail tactics are being used to threaten people for all sorts of behaviors. So there's different types of behaviors that are threatened here. So sometimes you might have heard of people claiming to have secretly recorded you on your webcam, doing something in your private house, and then they might try to blackmail you for Bitcoin in order to stop releasing those things to the public, for example. That's something that's quite common. That same scam has been around a long time. It's just that now they're using Bitcoin as a form of payment, again, to try and extract money for information from people. So there's those type of scams. There's different types of scams here from people that are getting demanded Bitcoin from all other types of things. So there's lots of information here that basically says people are getting all these nasty emails and they're demanding Bitcoin because of they've recorded a webcam, or they've found this out, or we've got all the access to your passwords and we'll release them if you don't pay us as much Bitcoin, or all these types of things. So nasty emails is kind of one thing. So again, we'll circle back to this in the video to give some more specifics on the details of that. But that kind of just alludes very quickly to the crypto scams in emails. So the next section, really, or forgive me rather, the last tail to that is crypto scam ICOs. So you may have heard of the ICO phase, the initial coin offering phase back in 2017, 2018, where all these new coins were started and you could buy into them right at the very beginning. Lots of people were investing in those to hope that those coins would do very well over time. And what we've seen now is an uptake in fake ICOs, where people are getting emailed with a new coin to invest in, but that coin doesn't actually exist. It's all just a scam, and that can be very difficult for people to separate from truth and reality. So again, we'll address that in more so in that detail. So moving on to number 2, we have fake YouTube. So you may or may not have seen this. So this article here basically goes on to explain what's happening, but really what it kind of broke down to was people were using real footage of celebrities. So Steve Wozniak in this instance that we're just looking at. So they'd use real footage of that individual talking about Bitcoin on stage at some event, because those individuals genuinely like crypto or have some type of opinion about it. So they would then take that footage, most likely without permission, I presume, and ultimately play that on the screen with loads of other text that basically surrounded that, saying, I, Steve Wozniak, really love Bitcoin. Therefore, if you give me 0.1 Bitcoin, I'm going to send you 0.2 Bitcoin, which is completely ridiculous because, of course, if Bitcoin is real money, why would anyone just give you double what they paid for you? It makes no sense whatsoever. But unfortunately, there's a lot of vulnerable people out there that will believe these things more so because it's got a famous face or a famous name attached to it. So as you can see here from the article, poor Mr. Wozniak is quite rightly suing YouTube over these types of things because you certainly wouldn't like your name being abused in such a way, and his legitimate interest in Bitcoin has been entirely manipulated for someone else ill-gotten gains, which is not great. So again here, this kind of rounds up the YouTube. That's a whole other thing we'll spend a bit more time on. The third thing here, number 3, is fake tweets. So this was quite a big news story recently where Twitter was hacked in a big scam in which it now turns out a 17-year-old, I believe, was supposedly the ringleader, has come to light, where they were very, very clever people. They managed to get access to the back end of Twitter and at the same time got access to many, many different celebrities' accounts. And they all did this similar thing as to the YouTube where they said, hey, I'm Elon Musk. Hey, I'm Joe Biden. Hey, I'm whatever. These official Twitter users put out all these tweets saying, if you pay me 0.1 Bitcoin to this address, I'll pay you 0.2 back. And they just did it to encourage people to pay them to their wallet. And, hopefully they were going to try and run off with the money. But again, it sounds ridiculous. Why would I give you double the money back for free? But when there's these celebrities that are simultaneously tweeting this, it was kind of a coerced attack to make it look like the celebrities of the world were giving back for Corona or whatever it was that they used to phrase as the reason why that was the case at the moment. So a really nasty thing and a big, advantage of people's trust was certainly taken. And again, we'll go into some more details about the ways in which you can avoid these things in this particular video on crypto Twitter attacks. So moving on to the fourth thing now, just to keep moving. So number 4 here, we basically have a situation where we're talking about cryptocurrency apps and their ability to be fraudulent. So effectively what is happening in a really simple nutshell is people will make a fake crypto app. So there are lots and lots of very, very legitimate, amazing crypto companies out there. You've got Poloniex, you've got Binance, Poloniex, Bittrex, some really big exchanges, and some of those have their own app. So Binance, for example, has its own mobile app that you can download, log into your account, and do all that type of stuff with. And what is happening, as this article alludes to, is that there are malicious players who are creating fake cryptocurrency apps that look real and pretend to be those legitimate companies in question. So what they're trying to do is get you to sign in on the app with you thinking it's real, with your real login details, which of course they then steal and then use to log into your real account and extract all the funds, which is really, really not helpful. So it says here in this article that Trezor, one of the big wallets, had an app, and they unfortunately had someone who made a fake app, but it didn't work out as bad as they thought because they weren't able to find out this information, that information, something else. They just kind of got usernames and some details, but they didn't have access to your coins on your Trezor because, of course, that's cold wallet storage solution, a cold wallet. So again, we've got some videos on cold wallets and hot wallets. If you're not sure what those differences, have a look around the channel. But in this instance there, the coins were safe. They just stole the user's data, which of course isn't a great thing. But at least the crypto wasn't at risk in this instance for Trezor. But there are more malicious apps which are trying to get access to your crypto by fraudulently manipulating and trying to be other companies. So again, not great at all. So this brings us on to the last one, really, which is number 5, which is pretty much the same thing other than crypto websites. So here we have, there's quite a few articles here on the website. So here we can see the crypto exchanges site. So again, it's a very similar strategy that these scammers are using. They will try to either imitate legitimate exchanges online and get people to go to those fake URLs instead of the originals, or they will effectively try to look like they're making a new exchange and offer some type of amazing benefit for people to use that exchange, all whilst they're pretending to be something that they're not. So again, it's just a very simple scam in the fact that it just takes advantage of people thinking something's legitimate when it's not. But obviously these websites can be made to look really very good. So again, here there's some more information about all of these things that are going on. So this is a kind of an overview of how people got away with it, which obviously we've taken some data from to put this video together for you, which is an interesting thing. So we've got 5 different elements there, 5 different reasons rather why we have scams in the industry, 5 different sections. So that really comes down to fake YouTubes, number 1. Sorry, fake emails is number 1. Fake YouTubes is number 2. Fake tweets is number 3. Fake mobile apps is number 4, and then fake websites being number 5. So that was just a quick little overview of the sector in regards to the main scams that exist. Of course, there are different types of scams out there. There is one other type of scam which is actually much more sinister, which is a very, very intelligent scam, possibly one of the best ones that we've seen. If you can refer to a scam as best, it's probably not the best verbiage, but it was very clever in its approach. And obviously, if some of you are following our Facebook, it was not thankfully one of our clients, but someone got in touch with us to kind of help understand, you know, what had happened there and if there's any way to get the funds back. And it was a very, very clever way of extracting money for people over months and months and months of some quite large investors. And it was really disappointing to see, and actually, you know, quite heartbreaking that 2 really nice people ended up being a victim to this. So this was actually one of the motivations to make this video in the first instance, because, you know, you can know a little bit about crypto and get burnt quite easily. You know, ironically, the whole premise of crypto and blockchain was to remove the need to trust third parties, and everything is done on the blockchain so you can trust things for yourself. But not everyone is really savvy with looking at blockchain explorers and checking all these things. And, you know, as with all things, some people know a little bit, some people know a lot. And it's very, very easy in what is effectively quite a complicated sector to get manipulated if you know a little bit of information and someone knows a little bit more than you. Now, ironically, a lot of these people that are scamming for Bitcoin don't know all that much, because Bitcoin is traced every single step of the way. So one could argue that trying to scam anyone for Bitcoin isn't the smartest idea in the world, because you can track where that Bitcoin was sent to, where that would be sent to, where that was sent to, and eventually at some point in that network, it's probably going to pop out. And if you wanted to get cash for that Bitcoin, eventually that's going to have to hit someone's bank account, which, you know, then can be typically tracked by normal authorities. So it's not quite as effective as doing things dodgy for physical cash. You know, a lot of people, if you're going to do something malicious, stay away from Bitcoin and stick to good old hard cash. If you are a scammer watching this, that would be my advice. Don't use Bitcoin. But on a serious note, really, we wanted to try and help people just understand this a little bit better. So just to kind of conclude this video, just to give you an overview of what's coming and what's next. If there is any type of scams that you've been made aware of, particularly if there is a question in your mind that you have pertaining to any of these things we've talked about, if you want to make some comments on the video below, put some information down there. What we'll try and do is, as we're filming the next videos and putting all this stuff together, we'll specifically try and answer those questions to give you the best information we can, and hopefully just be as helpful as we can as this moves forward. Because the market, as we're filming this at the moment, over the past week, the crypto market's gone mental. Bitcoin tipped over $12,000. We've had a really nice increase, pretty much up from 9,000 to 12,000 over the last 2 weeks. And with all that comes a lot of attention. And when the markets move up, the prices move up. When the prices move up, there's more money to be made. And when there's more money to be made, there's unfortunately more people willing to scam people. So we thought this was a really pertinent time to put this out there, just to try and be as helpful as we can, because we just see so many people getting taken advantage of in this space. So any questions, any queries, get in touch, let us know, and we'll do our best to try and help you out as best as we can. So I hope you've really enjoyed this video. I've been Josh from Easy Crypto. So again, if you can give us a little like on the bottom below, give us some comments, share the video to anyone that you think might be able to benefit from this, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of ScamWatch.